What is up, New England and beyond? The Room Podcast. Tommy Shayhood in the house. 2 weeks in a row, Tommy.
Oh my God, we're on a streak.
Jesus, man. We had a good show last week.
Yeah, that's why.
Getting back together.
Yeah, it was always nice getting back in here with you.
Welcome back, my man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Always in the Room Podcast.
Came from Triforce tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Grinding. You talked about, some locker room shower fun going on
I'm
there.
just such a fucking shithead talking in the locker room. Everyone who's watching who just knows will say, yeah, fucking he is. We're in a locker room. We got to be talking about dicks.
That's one thing I try not to do is talk in a locker room when my schlong is hanging out.
That's the best place to talk.
Men. I don't even like being in a urinal and a man peeing next to me. Never mind walking around a fucking thing with a towel around my head and my penis flying around. Tommy.
That's the best time. We can't talk when we're training because we're fucking getting our asses kicked.
So I would imagine a lot of banter happens in the men's locker room.
All over the place. There's only one little shower, so we're all taking turns, washing each other's backs.
Oh my God, Tommy. Jesus, we're gonna have to cut that out.
No.
I'm gonna have to put a fucking
They all know. They're like
a Khabib friggin' shower picture in there.
Oh yeah.
So Tommy, a lot going on coming up. Last week we talked about being back, and I think we mentioned a bunch of about a lot of promotions coming up and the first fights of the year.
Oh, it's great.
Well, here we go, Cage Titans.
Love it. The best ones,
The best ones, he says. The first event of the year for them, Cage Titans 63, happening this Saturday night.
Yeah, it's technically still January, so first month. Here we go.
I'm excited. I was on Table Titans Monday, as you know.
Saw that. That was pretty cool setup that they had. It was kind of like Mike and Andy over here, and then you guys over there. Because I was only watching it for a second at first, and I was like, "Where the fuck is Steve?" I could see like your arm. I thought they were cutting you out.
Yeah, no. There's a method to their madness, and you know what? It's like in here.
Yeah.
It's crunch time.
Yeah.
10 minutes before the podcast is going on air, we're moving cameras around, we're seeing if mics work, and that's exactly what happens behind the scenes at Table Titans. Mike pretty much set all that up last night with Nick on the fly.
Yep.
With all I think it worked out pretty good. We're all like giving our input about what to hang here, and it looked great, man.
It did look good. It was a good group too.
Yeah, fitting in all those people, man. That's
the guy, not Mike with the mustache,
Rob
your buddy.
Pico.
He looked like he didn't like you.
He loves me.
Does he? I don't know. He was just everything you say. He kind of just like stew,
Well, I might have picked against him.
Yeah, because then he would just say his answer real quick. I think he was just making a joke.
He's not kind of like an analyst. He's a fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
He's a front row fan. So he's not going to.
And
he
seemed like he knew what he was talking about. But you would have your long wind, and then he would have his short answer.
What do you mean? My long wind? What the fuck does that mean?
It means exactly what it means.
So I also changed things up. I flipped a coin.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
All the picks.
Yeah,
I think that worked out pretty well.
That's funny. On like your phone.
Yeah. No. We did it. Andy and I did it with Mike, and we did it at the bar before the show, just so we didn't have to waste time.
Sure.
10 tails in a row. I do
What?
believe. Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
You should go to Vegas.
That's what I was thinking. I said keep that. Well, that lucky quarter is still on the shelf next to that pin that almost hit me in the head. And
What? Wait, what? Pin?
well, Mike got up to go pee, and the pin that they have in the background.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It almost cracked me in
No
the head a
shit.
little bit. Yeah, it would have been great.
That would have been some good footage.
It would have been nice. So tonight we're here to talk a little bit about Cage Titans 63. Yeah. We're not going to be on way long tonight. But Tommy, what are you excited about in this card?
I'm excited for a lot of things. Obviously, the Aaron Hughes fight that's getting a lot of pull. We were hoping for the Lally fight. That's not happening. Who else is big on that fight?
You have Justin Valentin against Mitch Raposo as the main event.
That's the good one.
You got Jonathan Piersma against Aaron Trussell. You had Lionel Buggs against Pat.
Yeah, those are some familiar names for the Cage Titans crew.
So they have the what is it? They have the new belt for the older guys.
Oh yeah.
They came out with the belt today.
It should be like suspenders or something, right?
They'd squash us both.
I know, right? Yeah, that's why I said it.
I forgot what it's like the BF.
Yeah.
What is it? Bad motherfucker.
Yeah, BMF.
It's called something else. We'll let a special guest talk about that because last minute, we were just going to come on here for a little while, 35, 40 minutes, talk a little bit about the Cage Titan card.
Yep.
And when I made the post about we're going live at 8, one of my buddies said, "Hey, let me come on for a couple of minutes."
The man himself, spoiler. Yep. So we'll leave it up to that.
We're gonna have Mike Polvere on in about 4 minutes. He's gonna give some info on the events happening. I would imagine tomorrow is the press conference, then Friday is weigh-ins, and then Saturday is fight night, and then after party, and then pre-party with Rob Pico, the guy you said doesn't like me, but there was some chatter in the back that we might get an exhibition bout.
You and him?
Against each other.
Jesus.
With big gloves.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wouldn't it be
like the
fucking
big,
great?
huge, oversized ones, like those
the
fake
balloon
ones? Yeah.
Like fucking just stop. No, I don't know what they're gonna do.
That'd be
figure
funny.
it out.
You guys should do some Muay Thai.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
Remember when Andy and Adam did
but
the Muay
Andy
Thai?
actually trains.
I know, and so does Adam.
Well, I don't.
We'll get you in the gym. Come on.
Imagine that if I went to Triforce
Yeah.
and we went to like
Another
South
scrub.
Shore,
Yeah.
South Shore Sports Fighting.
Yeah, like Lozon
You
or
guys
something.
trained me. They trained him.
Let's fucking go.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you. Look at with the fucking hots everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Let's get Domenico killed in there.
No way. I'd put my money on you, especially if you train with me for a couple weeks.
You Duma fucking teaching me some boxing and
Dude.
shit like that?
Well, yeah, Duma could do you the boxing.
Yeah, Vic Fagnet,
Yeah.
my man.
Leon could teach you the wrestling, and I could, do some
What do you
jujitsu.
think? I don't think it wouldn't be MMA.
I know, but
Yeah, I didn't mind.
could be grappling. Grappling would be a little less.
I would be better. I think I'd have the edge grappling. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have grappled in the past. And I think I do know some moves.
yeah,
Still,
yeah.
if
You don't have to
you
get
me in that
punched.
position,
Yeah, you're not worrying about getting
you know what I
punched.
mean? We're getting too carried away with this. It's
happening.
Too
Let's
many
do it.
beans. Too many beans.
I think we should make it happen.
I told Mike the only way you could do it is if I didn't have to, like, the commission didn't have to look at me and okay me to. He goes, so it'd be an exhibition. I said, 'cause I'm all broken up.
No medical clear.
Yeah, I'm all broken up, man. I'm like the Tin Man at this time.
I was talking to a guy who's fighting in Rough and Rowdy tomorrow night, and he said that they took his blood.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, that's probably for sexually transmitted.
All things.
transmitted
All things. If you have
disease,
fucking AIDS or something.
herpes.
Yeah.
All that. It isn't definitely steroids because them.
No.
Those people are going in there.
And those guys are not on steroids
No.
for the fucking Rough and Rowdy.
No.
They're on steroids, but
They're eating bull meat, but they're not fucking injecting fucking
Yeah, they're
steroids.
eating bowls of steroids.
So anyway, last thing.
Again, all those guys will crush us.
Yes. Last thing about Cage Titans before we get a special guest on. Mike De Silva, the #1 fan there, he presented me with a piece of Cage Titans history, which I was like blown away from.
That was really cool. Should I grab it?
Yeah, whip it out. Be delicate because it is in glass and stuff. Flip it. I think you're gonna flip it around because that's the way he presented it to me. I think that's the way. But that is a piece of Cage Titans last year's canvas. Their cage canvas. So Mike is
I think that's John Duma's blood right
yeah,
there.
there's blood all over that thing.
God
He
damn.
did say he power washed it and stuff, but there's still DNA
With
all
what?
over that freaking
Power
thing.
washer with what? Something.
Fucking a squirt bottle.
His own fucking, Though they say that spitting on blood gets it out.
Yeah, well, you could try that later.
I'm
We're
not
gonna put
spitting.
that up on the wall,
Cool.
but I just wanted to show that one more time.
Very
But thank
cool.
you, Mikey De Silva.
Oh, that's a fucking nice piece, man.
It is. So that is going up on the wall,
Yep.
and God,
Another thing that could go on the wall, that giveaway that we were on today, that you tagged me in, then I tagged you in with that hat.
you think we're getting that?
If we do, it's
We're
gonna
not
go right
getting
there.
it. I don't know.
We got now both of our names are in it now. If that thing,
Oh, and so is Walt, and so is Dylan.
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I
So
don't know.
That's gonna go right over there.
All right. Well, let's see what's going on right here. All right. What time is it? It's 8:15. So let me give my my guest a call here.
Jingle.
Ready. So what I'm actually doing now, we have done it with Mike in the past, leading up to the fight card. We've had the promotion or fighters or something on the podcast before the event. So we're going with tradition, having Mike on if he checks his messages.
I'm surprised he's not so busy. I
you
mean,
know,
this is a
before-
crazy week for these guys.
Yeah,
He wants to do it. It's
that's
part of
what
the thing.
he does, man.
Yep.
But he, we'll have him on the week before, fight week, and then we'll have Rick Caldwell on as far as Combat FC.
Oh yeah.
And if someone representing Combat Zone want to come on, talk about their card leading up.
So every week beforehand.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think that's going to be something we're gonna do for
Going forward.
forever.
Yep.
I don't know, forever. All right, my man is ready. So without further ado,
Let's do it.
here's our special guest tonight. Hopefully this works. Yes. Love when a plane comes together.
It's like the drum roll.
There he is. There
What's
he
up?
is. What's up, my man? Special guest, Mike Pulver.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Can
What's up,
you hear
Mike?
us? Can you hear us, big guy?
I don't think you can.
How's that?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
All right,
Nice.
we're good, my man.
What's up, Mike?
How you doing?
How are you, my man?
I'm ready. Fight week.
Yeah.
Are you home right now?
I am home. Yes.
You were in the Fortress of Solitude right now,
Nice.
correct?
Yeah. I try to give you guys. I mean, I do have that halo above my head. Maybe I should switch it.
No,
up.
man, it's all right. Yeah, right there, that corner right there.
Yeah, I like
If you
that
sit
corner.
right in front of that little shrubbery.
go.
Oh, shrub.
All right, there you are, my man.
Now I got a tree in my background,
That's perfect.
Yeah, but that's good.
and you can see my bald head on this side.
All
But
right,
it's okay.
let me make him a little bigger here, and then we're good. All right, Mike, it's all you, bro. Welcome on, man. Mike basically messaged me a couple of minutes at like 7:30 when I put the post up, and we were gonna have just a short show talking about Cage Titans, and then you messaged me, go, hey, can I get on quick, man? Mike, as tradition, as you said when we spoke on Messenger, you usually come on fight week of Cage Titan show, man, and here you are tonight, man. How you doing and how you feeling about the card coming up on Saturday?
Man, I'm pretty excited and stoked. You know,
bet.
definitely. I saw that. You posted, and I'm like, every fight week, it's a Wednesday tradition. Even when we had Michael Dufort, and we were at the grocery store with
Yeah.
Dufort.
That was great.
So, yeah, man. So I can't break tradition. So I do got to do my New England MMA Room podcast appearance on Fight Week. But yeah, man, everything's pretty good, man. I mean, honestly, the fight card, shaping up. I mean, the elephant in the room, we took that hit in the main event with Giannetti and Lally falling off. But I think that the strength of this card, kind of like what we're known for, is that the card overall is going to be strong. Mitch Raposo and Justin Valentin slide into the number one main event, and it's the number one versus number two in all of New England. So if you're from New England, how can you not be excited for this fight? And it just like shows, it kind of strengthens the idea of these rankings that you guys have come up with, and it shows the number one versus the number two. Usually they wouldn't want to fight each other because they think that they're one step away, so they try to avoid. These guys are actually fighting not only for the Cage Titans title, but they're fighting for bragging rights to be the best. Say they're the best in New England.
Well, this is your main event, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, there's a main event that 99% of the people saying whoever wins this is definitely going to the UFC. What's your take on that as far as the winner of this? If Mitch wins, what do you think is his future? If Justin wins, what do you think his future is moving forward?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, Mitch Raposo 8-1. This kid's been that prospect since he started fighting back when he was 18.
Yep.
Fighting for us, that like he held multiple amateur titles in different promotions, and he's kind of been the guy that was like selected as like this kid's gonna go to the UFC from a very early age. And I think that he touched the UFC by Contender Series and the Ultimate Fighter, and he's been right there. And now he's trying to make a run to get back. And usually when you hear guys trying to make a run to get back to that level, they're 30 years old, 32, 33, kind of like they had their time and their come up, and then they got there, and now they're later in their career, they're working back towards it. Like this kid hasn't even really hit the prime of his career. I think he's like 24 years old.
Yeah, he's young.
He's already been there. So I think the future's bright for him. And if he's able to pull out this victory, he's shown some improvements overall in his game. He hadn't really won a lot of, by finish a lot. And, he came out and had that huge knockout against Tyler Smythe. And he showed he's had some finish ability. So I think if he can pull this victory off, it just further cements him that he should, get back into the UFC at a 9-1 record and enter their flyweight division.
Now,
On the flip side,
yeah,
you mentioned Justin Valentine. What's next for him? It's like he takes everything we were just talking about and puts it on his back, and he gets all that hype, all that attention of taking out a guy that's been at that level. That immediately messaging Mick Maynard after that, and it's like, I know you had Mitch Raposo on your radar. This kid's now 5-2. He just took out the guy that pretty much was there and told if he won this, he'd get back to the UFC. So that puts him in that light. So I think this just fight's tremendous for both guys. It does a lot for for both of them, and it's going to be intriguing to see who pulls this out.
well, like you said, losing the previous main event with Giannetti and Lally. This is a perfect storm right here for these two kids to just take the show on their backs. I mean, you got a great other matchups, but for these two, number 1 and 2, to go in there, and all the light's going to be on them because, like you said about Mitch, this could be the last time we see him regionally, and or this could be Justin Valentine's blast off to be that new face and that face of the 125-pound division, not only in New England, but, kind of up and down the East Coast. Because if you look at Mitch, I do believe he's the number 1, not only in New England, but up and down the East Coast.
Yeah, this is kind of like a fun time to be a fan of MMA here. You see guys that are challenging themselves early in their careers, which you hadn't seen in the past. You've seen guys willing to fight other tough fights. Like, I go back, even a few years back, and it was like, oh, don't make the tough guys in New England fight each other. Like, like they should avoid each other, and they should like try to like bring New England or, kind of like to the forefront. And, I get that kumbaya, like, hey, let's bring the whole region up. But it's like, at a certain level, it's like, now these guys are like, I don't care if you're from New England. I want to beat the best guys that are out there. And if I'm not beating the best guys that are even in my region, how can I say I'm going to beat guys at the next level? So I just think it's a fun time right now. And you see these type of fights happening, more often than they were in the past. It's not like, oh, let's cross train and be buddies. It's like, okay, like we'll fight and then we'll be buddies, as you see. They call it a segue, as you see in Ozzy Martin fighting for our welterweight title. Him and Brody McDougal were in an absolute war in 2023, that one fight of the year. And now these guys are training together and helping each other and working together to get themselves to the next level. So they had that match, they had that bond, they had that war together, and now they're picking each other up and trying to, progress to the next level. And I think that's kind of a cool little thing too.
Yeah, if these guys want to take the next step, then they're going to have to fight the best guys. They can't just sit there and fight cans all day. They need to do what's the best and what the people want.
Yeah, and you say it best. Like, in the past it was like, hey, take a cushy ride to the top locally in whatever local promotion you're fighting for, and then roll the dice when you get to the UFC and hope you're good enough. And it's like now these guys, they realize with shows like the Contender Series, and you look at a guy like Connor Matthews, like you can lose one or two, and then maybe kind of make your way back up there, or just kind of strengthens you as your character as a fighter. It kind of strengthens your resolve, and it kind of gives you an idea of some of the holes you need to work on, so that you can make that run. And look at him, he's fighting March 30th in the UFC, his first UFC fight.
Amazing,
crazy, Mike, and ton of these fighters that are in the UFC, not only Mr. Matthews, but a ton that have been there, have come through your organization, man. So you're doing great things for the group around here, not only for the homegrown talent, but there's talent that comes out from other countries, other states, other areas that you really give shine to, have excelled being in the Cage Titans cage.
Yeah, I think it's just about building the platform and realistically kind of turning the corner in 14 years. It's a slow build, but it's something that I believed in from the start. We never try to rush anything. We never try to be something we're not. We're not just rolling in ex-UFC guys just to kind of give us a couple extra clicks. Like, we believe in the product. We believe in who we're bringing along. and now it's like not only regionally now, we're getting that exposure nationally, and you look at guys that come in here, TJ Brown, he went on to the UFC. Unfortunately, he got cut, but he reached out to me right away. It was like, hey, listen, man, I'd love to come back and fight for Cage Titans. I'm making my run back there. You got girls like Jazzy DeVicious, just set a striking differential record in a UFC fight that she won this past weekend. Who she headlined a card for us. Obviously Dufort, who's a recent memory, but there's guys that will come in here, and even the party, like guys who are out of staters, that our platform shines them up, and it's like you don't have to just be a guy in New England who sells tickets because you live 20 minutes from the venue. I think that you can come to this platform of Cage Titans that we've built up, and no matter who you are, you can kind of make a name for yourself and kind of become a star.
Am I mistaken, or did Chris Curtis, who fought over the weekend, also fight in Cage Titans?
No,
he was actually CES.
Oh,
he was a CES champion.
Okay.
Which is really good.
Yeah, it's great.
Chris Curtis has been at Cage Titans.
Yeah.
I did meet him there. I think he was cornering Jay Perrin when Jay Perrin came
Cool.
back.
Yeah,
right?
so Chris Curtis flew in to corner Jay Perrin against Lionel Young last year.
Cool.
Well, let's, Mike, do you want to talk about a couple more fights, or do you want to move on about the festivities that are going to be happening with Cage Titans as far as press conference, weigh-ins? Is there anything else that stands out as far as the fights that you want to mention, anything like that?
How about this? I am going to ask Tommy, because you were at the show on Monday, Steve, so we got to talk about all the fights you and I. Tommy, how about you give me one fight that you're looking forward to?
Coming up?
And why, and then maybe I can give you some inside info.
I was always looking forward to the Aaron Hughes fight because there was a lot of back and forth and things like that. So, he's a good fighter, and that's going to be a good fight. So probably that one I'm looking forward to.
Well, obviously you had Hicksonbaugh. I think he was in your hiatus, so you might not have been there for the Room podcast, but he was on your show, and he had some strong words.
Oh yeah.
For Aaron Hughes, which kind of started the things going. And there was a lot of controversy around their first fight, with those back of the head elbows, and was it intentional, unintentional? They were going to protest the Hicksonbaugh camp, and then it kind of settled down a little bit. And then Hughes' very next fight, he's on the microphone calling him an effing P word. Sorry, my kids are upstairs. I'm at home. If I was in the studio, I'd say it. But, he's saying this. He's like, I'm gonna beat your A, and I'm gonna beat your coach's A too. It's like, whoa, okay, where are we going with this?
And Mike, the cool thing, the thing about that is, like, we know Aaron, and we know Jake, and we know Jacob Bone, but the people, when Aaron is saying that, they don't know that, you know what I mean? They just think he's saying he's gonna tear the whole team up and stuff like that. They don't know, the actual story behind that, and it's great. It's great for hyping the fight.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like I said on Monday, I give him kudos, both of the guys, for really getting this fight blasting off.
And Jake, when he's grinding his teeth in that interview, he's just so passionate.
Hey, Mike. I actually, when I watched that, when he was saying it, my teeth were grinding with him. Every time I watch it, my teeth grind.
Yeah. Well, that's a funny thing. Shout out to my wife. She just came downstairs and said she shut the kids' door. So
Nice.
I can talk a little more freely. But, you're right. Like, you see that passion that Hicksonbaugh has when he's talking about it. You can see, I don't want to put words and say the hatred's there, but there's a lot of emotion, feelings. Maybe they'll hug it out afterwards, but going into it, and that gets people jacked up and stoked. If I can see how excited you are and how important that is to you, that's going to resonate with fans, and I'm going to feel emotionally invested now. The other thing that I love, just kind of segueing off that, I tell guys this all the time. When you book your fight, it's everything that goes around it. The stage is set and the stage is yours. What are you going to do with it? And I'm not saying that these guys are doing it for show, and I'm not telling any fighters to manufacture beef or anything like that. When I fought, I used to hate that. A promoter would call you up and say, hey, so-and-so said he wanted to fight you. And then you're like, F him, I'll kick his ass. And then you end up fighting him. And you're at weigh-ins, and you're like, dude, I can't believe you wanted to fight me. And they're like, I never told the promoter that.
Yep.
I didn't call you up, but they're trying to manufacture beef.
That's a good promoter, though, no?
I mean,
They call that the Don King.
I understand.
You know, and I think that what these guys have done, you know, they've done what we always talk about. You have the stage. What are you going to do with it? So they're out there doing the interviews. They're out there doing the podcasts, you know, and they're real when they're telling you how bad they want to beat the one's ass. You know, you said he's grinding his teeth, and you find yourself like he's grinding his teeth talking about Aaron Hughes. You're grinding your teeth like listening to him. It gets those juices flowing, which makes it a great fight. You know, otherwise this fight is a 2-2 versus a 4-4, and we're all just going, cool. You know,
Yep.
This means nothing to me. I don't care what their records are. This is why you should care about this fight. This is the story for that fight. And I often say that, and these guys have just really done a great job of taking that ball and running. And Aaron Hughes, hats off to him. This kid does it every fight. Yep. When has there not been an Aaron Hughes fight, whether it was Jerry Muse, what it was the first time he fought Hixenbaum, whatever the fight before that, even when he was talking about banging mom, you know, throwing bombs and banging moms, he's always selling, and he's always using the platform, not just for the punches and kicks.
Couple of strong personalities.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Whoever wins this fight, it's going to be an incredible post-fight interview. I would imagine Mr. Cupcakes will he be in the cage giving the interviews again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
You know, this is a great card because this is, you know, we have 12 fights on this, and a lot of times the post-fight interviews kind of get late by the wayside because we're crunched on time. You know, so 12 fights we'll be able to really get those interviews, and that's something that I always enjoy having. But then when you are looking at the fight card as a whole and you got 15 fights and you stop doing the math, you're like, if I interview everybody and every interview is 3 minutes and there's 15 fights, all of a sudden I'm at an hour of just doing interviews, and it's just not feasible, or 45 minutes. It's just not feasible to add that to a fight card that's 15 fights long. In an instance like this, you know, we'll really be able to kind of get those stories told after their fights. But I'm going to say this. Let me ask you two. Do they hug it out afterwards?
You first, Tommy.
I think so.
You do.
Yeah,
right,
it's all part of the game. They're all fighters. These guys are warriors, and they're also respectable guys. So I think that, you know, after it's all said and done and they shed a little more blood, they'll hug.
I think so.
Yeah.
When I interviewed Jake, I did ask him that question. Do you think you guys will, like, you know, be friends or make up or whatever after the fight? I think it was a little premature to ask that question because there was so much going on. You know, I kind of I should have cut that out of the interview, but. You know, it's an important question. You know, is this real? Is this hype? And Jake had the kind of attitude like, you know, I will, if you know what I mean. I'm game. I mean, but we'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we will see. I guess it depends how the fight ends. And when we're talking about it, we should probably put like a little weight. We should put wagers on it. You know, BetMGM is picking up the fights again. So
nice.
They will have the odds on the fights. I actually got a preview of the odds today sent to me. So the odds will be up on BetMGM. So maybe I should ask BetMGM if they'll put the over-under on a hug or a high five in this fight.
That'd be fucking
some prop
awesome.
bets,
That'd be great,
there should be a prop bet section.
Yeah, because you can't make that. I mean, depending on how the fight ends. I mean, Jake said he wants to, you know, make him, you know, unconscious after the fight. I'm sure Aaron's thinking the same thing.
Well, if one of them tap, that's kind of, we'll see. You know.
Yeah, well, it's just great. Well, let's move on, Mike. One last question before we move on until what's going on as far as the schedule with everything in the next couple of days. You guys posted the belt for the I forgot the name of the belt for the older guys.
OG belt.
The OG belt. I'm sorry, I should fucking remember that.
I guess so.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's easy.
So let's talk
Hold
about
on, Tommy, what does it stand for?
Original gangster, right?
Could be original gangster, or it could be old guy belts.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's pretty good.
The old guy or original gangster.
So, Mike, let's talk about how excited. I mean, you came out with a belt just for this. You got a couple of studs, older studs in there, and man, they're duking it out for a belt that may never be defended. Who knows? I mean, but let's talk about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is just kind of like something that's near and dear to me. Like, you know, I don't want to say we don't take ourselves too serious, but like we're not a promotion that we only care about you if you're going to go to the UFC. You know, if you want to compete inside a cage, you have a home with us. Whether it's the 59-year-old, John Payne, who competed with us, whether you're a guy who's one and done, or you are a stud that's going to go on to the UFC. Like, we enjoy the sport itself, and we enjoy people that like being around it. And this unique opportunity kind of came to light in the last year or so when you see some older guys. Greg Jones made his pro debut at 50. We saw Brandon Boats in there at 44, 45. I mentioned John Payne at 59 years old. And this was an opportunity that kind of was joked around. And I think I did a post-fight interview after Greg Jones made his pro debut, and we were kind of just joking. I'm like, hey, maybe we'll do like the BMF belt, but we'll do it like the old OG BMF, or like the old guy motherfucker, or like throwing it out there in that back press scrum after the fights, and just kind of threw it out there. And I was like, some people are interested, and it just kind of made sense. And Greg Jones, who's 50 years old, and Brian Costco, who's 46. Everybody, like Tommy, thought it was the original gangsta belt, because we kind of were like, OG BMF is weird. Like, all right, we kind of landed on the OG title, and we were talking about it. My wife came by. She was just like, does that mean old guy? and where I'm going with where I'm going with it is that it can be original gangster, or it can be old guy. You look at Brian Costco, he fits the mold of being a 46-year-old older guy. But then you look at him, and he's kind of an original gangster. This kid's been fighting for cage time since I think 2011 was his first amateur fight. So he's been around. We started in 2010. So this guy's been around. So he kind of fits both modes. Then when you go to Greg Jones just made his debut, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, a year ago. So it's like, he's the old guy portion because he's 50, but like he's only been fighting for a year. So like, it's just, the OG title can really mean whatever way you want to go with it. Because I've seen like a guy like Damian Trites, he posted today, he's like, I want a shot. Damian Trites was fighting back in 2007, 6, 8, 2008. Like, this guy's an original gangster, but he's only like 42 years old. So I wouldn't consider him necessarily super old.
Nice. That's how old I am.
Yeah. So he has been around. So we might set some criteria and have fun with it in the future. Maybe there'll be other iterations in different weight classes. But I'm excited because this is something that got people talking, and this is just something else we can do and have fun with. And, at the end of the day, it's something cool. It gets some people talking. These guys are still competing. For guys that are in the crowd or watching, they could be sitting there being inspired by these other guys in the cage, being like, I'm 50 years old and this guy's in there fighting. Maybe I go to the gym. Maybe I can go hit a heavy bag. Maybe
Definitely.
I can get better shape. And unfortunately, on the same token, for some of those guys that might be sitting with their wives in the crowd, the wives could be elbowing them and being like, hey, honey, these guys are in there at your age. Maybe you can get a little better shape. So yeah, have some fun with it.
That's good too.
And do some cool things.
Excellent, my man. Well, let's move on, Mike. You were talking on Table Titans about having, I believe, the press conference today, but I believe it was moved to tomorrow. You want to talk about your scheduling and what's going to be going on leading up to fight night?
Yeah, so we had some scheduling conflicts that we had to pull the plug on the press conference. I'm a super firm believer, if I can't get both sides of the fight at the press conference, we're not homers where we're only going to do press conferences with the A side, the hometown guys. So unfortunately, we just couldn't get schedules to align for the press conference. And we were going to do it today. Then we tried to put it together for tomorrow. And tomorrow was tough with the main event, and weight cutting. So it just fell by the wayside. But I promise you, it's something that we're committed to, and that we'll be back, because a lot of people look forward to those press conferences. But we're going to do something extra special on weigh-in day. As for the schedule itself, as always, we have the weigh-ins at Plymouth Memorial Hall. We will be streaming that live on all of our social media. Shout out to StreamYard. StreamYard just recently, for 2024, did an add-on where you can stream live to Instagram as well at the same time.
Cool.
So we will be on all of our social media, streaming the weigh-ins at Memorial Hall. If you want to come and cheer on the fighters and see them, love to have you. But if you can't, watch online. Then on Saturday, our typical Saturday fight day, the pregame tailgate bash will be at Second Wind Brewing. Tomorrow, we're dropping the Cage Titan Seltzer flavor. I know we teased it on Table Titans, but we're going to actually roll it out tomorrow with a nice video and package. So Second Wind Brewing will be the tailgate party on Saturday. They start at 12, and usually, go there and see superfan Rob Pico. He has tickets to give away. He'll be doing a ticket giveaway if you come see him.
Okay.
But, hang out there, have a couple drinks, see where our Cage Titans Fight Night IPA is brewed, as well as our Second Wind, seltzer, name to be determined tomorrow. But it is actually really cool. It's really good. We got all the flavoring, and we got sample testing today, so it was really cool. So you'll be able to do that at the pregame party over at Second Wind. It's only 2 blocks down from the hall. So go there, grab a drink, then come get in line. The fights, as always, Saturday. Hall pass entry begins at 4. General entries 5. First fight 6. And then, as always, we're at Tavern on the Wharf afterwards, having a couple drinks and having some fun. You get to see the fighters a little more close up and more intimate. They get to let loose a little bit because they've been training so hard. So it's really fun to see the fighters interacting with their fans and their friends. And then also, a lot of times, one of my favorite parts is the fighters interacting with each other post-fight after they just shed some blood in the cage together. And then last but not least, we will be doing a post-day recovery party, I think we're going to call it. I haven't really finalized the words, but our other brewer, 42nd Brew Co., they just opened a tap room 2 months ago, and it's brand new. They just opened, so they're going to be doing Sunday. Come on by 42nd Brew Co., and they will be doing like a post-day celebration party for fans that want to come by, have a couple drinks, see their tap room. So yeah, that's kind of the weekend, and everything else what you expect for us. I mean, we're going to be having great fights. Social media is going to be following along. It's going to feel like you're right there. Spectation Sports will be streaming. BetMGM should be rolling so you can make some money. We'll have the post-fight interviews in the back with all the winners. Man, it's just overall a good time, and it's great to see everybody come out and have fun.
Excellent. Anything you want to ask Mike before I ask one last question?
It's just an amazing week. All those breweries are awesome. I mean, that schedule is super cool. And after the fact that the wharf, like you said, when fighters are in there, they're still sometimes bleeding on each other when they go down there. So that's a very cool experience.
Missing buttons.
Sometimes
missing buttons and stuff.
It will never top the time that one of our fighters got stitched in the back corner of Tavern.
Jeez.
When you think you've seen it all, you've never been to a Cage Titans after party where there was somebody stitching one of our fighters, and in the interest of not exposing anybody.
That's insane. That is wild.
Hey, Mike.
Not the most sterile environment.
Hey, Mike. No. After the event, it's crunch time. There's not much time to get beers in you. So, stitches or not, let's get it done later, man. I need some beers.
Pour a little whiskey on it. We're good.
Hey, so, Mike, there was a doctor in the house to do this, or did another fighter friggin' sew him up?
It was just a fan.
I will tell you this. Well, it was somebody that could do stitch.
All right, stop right there. We're good with that.
I don't care. It was a doctor. It was a doctor.
All right, it was a doctor. All right.
Suspended license doctor, but whatever.
Exactly. Sorry.
No longer has a license to practice. The board is watching the podcast right now. But,
Dr. Kevorkian, it's all good.
That's what my podcast is all about, controversy. So, hey, Mike, last thing, man. Dude, thank you so much for Monday, Table Titans. We changed things up. Well, I changed things up so I wouldn't be killed on social media. Did you get any buzz after that? Were there any death threats after Table Titans on Monday?
Not nearly.
Now, wait a minute. So there was some? There was some.
No. I got some that were like, come on, dude. Is that really a coin? That's bullshit. And so I think the best bet would be if we do it that way again, you got to flip live.
All right.
Well, that's what I was
right.
saying too, because when I was watching it, knew that you guys were doing the coin, but he was looking at his phone, so I thought it was like a coin flip
No,
app
we
or
did
something.
it at the bar before we went. Me and Andy and Mike was in there, but Andy did it legitimately.
With a
Flipped
coin.
it every time. I think we got tails 10 times in a row. But next time, I'll flip it, or I'll by then maybe I'll grow more balls and I'll just give my opinion on my
Listen,
my
man,
thoughts.
Give your opinion. There you go. I will say this. It's funny. I was watching a video, and it was like idiots of like roulette. They're like, when you look, that's a tactic that casino. Follow me for a second. Casinos use a tactic by throwing up the numbers on the board that's been coming out, because the tactic is, in your mind, you're thinking, well, this number's due. In actuality, no number is due, because no matter the infinite amount of number spins, it's infinitive. Like, so when we were talking about your coin flip, and it was like you had 9 tails in a row, and people were like, he's due for a head, he's due for a head. It's like, if you flip that coin infinite times, there's no like trend type things.
It's all bullshit.
It's 50-50. Like, there is no, we're due for heads right now.
Yep.
Like, you know, there just isn't. So it's funny. And that's a quick little tie-in that I just happened to see pop up in my social media the other day.
So Cage Titan 64, there will be no coin.
No coin, Cage Sign 64.
There'll be a roulette wheel though.
Or just flip the coin live.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Or just give your opinion. Like Lionel Young backed you up. He said, listen, man, I don't want you to flip a coin and say who you think's going to win. I want you to tell me your honest opinion. And fighters like Lionel, who has a thick skin, or like we talked about that night on Table Tie, it's like you might become their bulletin board material and help motivate them. And they'll throw their darts at your face. And Mikey, I remember Mikey De Silva picked against Tyler Smythe, and Tyler Smythe ran right over to the cage after he won. He was like yelling at him, and it was like, now they're cool. And, you know, so just give your opinion, man. So, because people want to either prove you wrong, and they'll relish in that. And if that's what takes them to get them up off the couch or go for an extra jog tomorrow morning before their fight, who cares?
Sure. Yeah, light a little fire.
Excellent, my man. Well, Mike, as always, thank you so much. Anything you want to leave off with? I have your CageTitansFC.com here. I know it is SpectationSports.com, or is it more than that?
Yeah, so SpectationSports.com. You know, I always say, if you can come out to Cage Titans at Plymouth Memorial Hall, there's no better venue to watch fights. You know, it's the amazing atmosphere, the vibes in there. It's just, it's incredible. So if you can get out to the fights, you know, hit up your favorite fighter and get your tickets. If you can't, you know, you can go to CageTitansFC.com to buy your tickets. And for those who cannot make it out in person, my speech is ingrained. Don't worry, Spectation Sports has you covered. You can watch from the comfort of your own home by going to SpectationSports.com and use your favorite fighter's last name as the promo code so that they can get credit. You know, everything we do, whether it's tickets or stream links, we're always trying to give back to the fighters and give them opportunities to get a little bit extra revenue for their performances. So use your favorite fighter's last name at the checkout so they get credit. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome, my man. Well, another spectacular job getting your first event going in 2024, Mike. Last thing, Mike gave me a piece of history of Cage Titans. Do you know how many he has of these? I mean, he's probably has a couple of dozen, maybe 10 dozen. That's a big canvas. But was that his idea, Mike's? Like, where did that come from?
I was just saying, are you asking how many? Are you going to start numbering? Are you going to number your piece and try to sell it?
I think that's number 2. I think Rob Pico got the first one, I think.
No, so I have, you know, 5-6 canvases, like just sitting in my trailer. And, you know, what we were talking one time, we did it with Devin Carrier's actual, you know, piece of the mat. That was the first time we did it. Be quite honest, I always envision having a gym one day or a garage. I don't have a garage in my house, but building a garage and having one of my canvases on the wall. There's actually a gym out in Vegas that has like a UFC 2 canvas on their wall.
Cool.
So that's what I always envisioned. But Mikey was like, what are you doing with these? And then one day he just took them all to his house and he just started slicing and dicing and cutting it up. And We did the carrier one. I know we gave some to our people that work for Cage Titans, the guy who runs the hall. So yeah, man, it was kind of Mikey. He kind of took this project and vision that we kind of shot the shit about, and he took it to fruition. And he just started doing it, and it's kind of a cool thing. I think it ties people to the community, and we are Cage Titans. We're all a part of that, and without any one of us, we can't all do what we do. So yeah,
that's a nice piece, man. I really
it is. I could see me included, people showing up with this and having it signed by certain people for Cage Titans. Down the line, kind of like T-shirts and stuff like that, getting signed memorabilia. I think it's a great piece to have signed if you're a fan, just want something on there.
Yeah, we've actually kicked around we did it. We just did a new. We just did a new canvas. Actually, it just got delivered today for this week. But we were kind of kicking around the idea of the UFC did something where you can buy a spot on their canvas and you can put your name. You see places facilities that will build and you can buy a brick. We actually were kicking around the idea of maybe letting people buy a spot, $100 and you can have your name on the canvas and kind of doing some cool things like that. So, I think that, the possibilities are endless, I guess I will say. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's definitely a piece that people can sign and do things like that. I see you kind of adopted the sign under the wall behind you.
Yep.
That's a cool thing.
It is cool.
I think, man, anything that can make people feel a little special. I mean, and brighten their day. And sometimes it's simple gestures. I really do. And Mikey's a big-hearted guy, and that really is who he is. So he's perfect to kind of do this outreach type thing that he's doing.
Excellent.
It's a nice piece. It's a nice piece.
It is. It's a good. He's got a great heart for a huge guy. My boys at work were going, dude, you look like a little kid next to that guy in that picture. He's towering over me. What a huge dude Mikey is, man. So kudos to him. Mike,
he's a big teddy. He's a big teddy bear.
Yeah. Anything you want to leave off with, Tommy?
No, it's going to be a good weekend, I think.
Mike,
are you going to be there, Tommy?
No, I think we're going to do a thing, right?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
It's up in the air right now.
I won't.
Wait a minute.
Look, he's like, Mike's like, you're fucking going, Domenico.
I was going to say, pump the brakes.
I will be there. It might be, there's going to be a lot going on in that card as far as, just
emotion. Tell me you're not coming.
I'm coming, Mike. All right, I'm coming.
All right, good.
All right.
Good. You got to be there, man. Pop in and, have a good time, man.
Drink some beer.
It's always fun when you're there. And, and I'll tell you this, if your thoughts are for any type of reason to not coming, people are going to hate, people are going to love. It's just part of it. You've always been kind of true to yourself and, continue doing that. You walk your path and people want to be whatever they want to be, let them do that. Don't let any sweat off your shoulders.
All right, man. I appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for coming on, man. Always week before Cage Titans. Let's do it, man. Wednesday, fight week.
Tradition continues.
Yes, it does.
Thank you guys so much. And I cannot wait for this Saturday. And we will see you at the fights.
All right, Mike. I will see you Saturday night, okay?
You better be there. Now you said it.
All right, man. Thank you so much, Mike. You have a good night, man. We'll see you soon.
Later, Mike.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So there you go. No fight companion, Tommy. I'm going to the fights. You want to go? Do you want to go?
We'll see.
Because you were going to come to the fight companion. I'll give you a ride.
Yeah, we'll see what's up.
If you want, I'll pick you up.
We'll see what's
go
up.
Together.
Yeah, that could be cool.
You know what I mean? Just hang out, have some beers.
Like you were saying earlier, busy weekend, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to twist your arm, make it.
No, it sounds like a great time.
Yeah, it's probably. No, of course it'll be good.
Always is.
I know Lars, Travis will be there.
Oh, really? It's going to be
doing their thing.
Okay.
Well, Lars does the managing of full contact management. So Jonathan Piersma and Jake Hicksenbauer under him. So
cool.
He'll be there. Yeah, I'll definitely be going. You better. Nah.
We'll see what's up. We'll see what's up.
All right, Tommy. Anything you want to leave off with?
No, like I was going to say, that's going to be an awesome Cage Titans weekend. Mike's the man for calling us because he's got probably more busy than anyone in this whole fucking state this week.
Yeah, that's really makes me feel special.
Yep.
When Mike Polvera, the owner of
the guy,
possibly the biggest promotion on the East Coast,
makes
time to call into my podcast of Fight Week. So kudos to all those guys from Cage Titans. Another guy, Adam Russell from
Yeah.
Cage Titans,
Oh,
saying
yeah.
Tommy's my man.
Oh man, Adam's my man too. He actually got me into Cage Titans. He had set me up with the first time I went there. Fucking, and I was hooked.
Well, we got to go by his place and have a beer
Uh-huh.
sometime.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's-
if we go Saturday, we can go see him.
it's
You
right
know
around
what
the
I
corner,
mean?
so-
Let me know.
Yeah, all
you know
Plymouth
what I
out
mean?
there. Yep.
Well, Adam will be doing it. He's the DJ
Yeah.
and gets the music going.
Mhm.
at
And
Cage
he's great
Titans.
at that.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Very
With that
cool.
said, great show.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, next week after, keep going with the tradition. We'll have Rick Caldwell on from Combat FC because they have a card coming up on February 9th.
Yep.
Maybe we'll have Joe Cav on with him. But that's either next Wednesday or the Wednesday before their show. It depends, but I think I am having Rick on Wednesday.
Cool.
If some representative from Combat Zone would like to come on the show and talk about the card, leading up to the card, anything about the card.
What are the
give me a
big
call.
fights on that card?
There's some great fights
Yeah.
on that card. I can't think
Not
of
off the
them
top of your head, yeah.
offhand, but I know a couple of amateurs that I want to get a word with. If you are fighting Combat FC or Combat Zone, hit me up if you want to get a chat in. As you know, nowadays I don't hit up many fighters unless you are my good friends fighting. But if you want a word with me, give me a message on Messenger, either on my Instagram, The Room Podcast, or my Facebook, Steve Domenico Messenger, and I'll definitely get back to you. So with that said, Tommy, anything you want to leave off on?
Always good here.
All right, we out of here. Thank you so much. See you at Cage Titans 63 Saturday night. Tune in their Facebook page on Friday for their weigh-ins and everything going on for the weekend there. So
Good shit.
we out.
Later.